I must confess, I used to get drunk all the time. Back in university, we'd binge drink on the regular, often 2 to 3 nights per week. The school I went to had an awesome downtown bar scene, and it was just sort of part of the culture, at least in my social circle. And while I don't drink that often anymore, I do still get buzzed or tipsy on occasion. So the last time I had a few beers, I noticed something interesting, and it had to do with the nature of the alcohol induced state. Basically, what I found is that getting drunk puts you into a sort of a state of oblivion. Similar to meditation or the high that comes from taking psychedelics, there's a shutting down of thought. But unlike those other two states, there's no underlying sense of love or awareness. It is just pure emptiness. Like nothing else is there beyond that initial sense of giddiness or outgoingness, at least in my experience. And so it's sort of like if meditation or psychedelics represent an expansion of consciousness, alcohol is a lowering of consciousness. Indeed, as Eckhart Tolle says in this video, giving in to distractions such as TV, devices, and intoxicating beverages, aka alcohol, represents falling below thinking, whereas something like meditation allows one to rise above it.
So we've talked about the distractions on the external level, television, devices, intoxicating beverages or other intoxicating substances. I would advise against it, at least here, and never indulge even when you're not here. As you probably know, I've already mentioned, I tried it a couple of times. I have to because people ask me questions about it. I cannot answer if I haven't tried it. It wasn't that great. I prefer my normal state of consciousness. It felt a little bit almost oppressive. But I can see a person who is tortured on a daily basis by their mind. It can be a relief to have a smoke. But here we have something better. We are not falling below thinking. We are rising above thinking. And that is the next step in human evolution. As you rise above thinking, you don't need to fall below thinking anymore because you become liberated from your mind in the dimension that is transcendent to thought.
The end states are similar in the sense that thoughts become greatly diminished and our mind quiets down, but they are qualitatively different in terms of their underlying nature. And this got me to thinking, no pun intended, that in our society, in which alcohol has long been the dominant recreational drug of choice, it's no wonder that the contemporary Western perspective gravitates so heavily towards atheism. I mean, when we are routinely lowering our consciousness by getting intoxicated, what other conclusions would one draw? When this is, for many people, the only alternate state of consciousness they ever experience, aside from dreaming, why would you assume that there is life after death or anything beyond the physical? Because unlike psychedelics or meditation, alcohol doesn't offer you any kind of glimpse behind the curtain. So there's no reason to believe in an afterlife or any sort of non-material spirituality, especially if you come from a non-religious household like I did. Conversely, I can almost guarantee that if, say, magic mushrooms or ayahuasca were to replace booze as the de facto drug of choice in our culture, a lot more people would suddenly start believing in a higher power. You simply can't have a breakthrough experience on psilocybin and still maintain that there is no existence beyond physical death. Or at least you'd have to be extraordinarily stubborn or thick-headed to outright deny the possibility. It just really breaks you out of the matrix, so to speak, and you start to see, on a deep and visceral level, that the physical dimensions are just one layer of reality, and consciousness is not dependent on them.